The fastest production car in the world is an EV from China. You know, it wasn't long ago that if you wanted to go faster than 250 miles an hour, you needed 4 turbos, 16 cylinders, and more radiators than I have toes. EV haters knew deep down that a Tesla would beat their muscle car from a dig, but they knew at the top end they'd at least be faster. At high speeds, gasoline is just better, right? Engines are king, right? Well, those rules are changing fast. In late September, a team from Chinese automaker Yangwang went out to the ATP Papenburg high-speed test oval in Germany, and they laid down a top speed of 308.4 miles per hour in their U9 Extreme. That's faster than a Bugatti, that's faster than a Koenigsegg, and I'm sorry, who the hell is Yang Wang? And what kind of insane advancements have they made to go over 300 miles per hour in an EV? Before this news broke, I had never heard of Yangwang, which isn't that surprising. Because of the current import policies towards Chinese vehicles, I didn't really pay a lot of attention to what's going on over there. I know for a fact a lot of you guys don't either. Here's a little advice. If you ever start a YouTube channel, don't let a manufacturer put a rep in the car you're about to drive. Tell them to learn that one the hard way. As my buddy Kyle Tromka at The Drive would say, to us in the US, Chinese vehicles exist on a theoretical level. But around the rest of the world, that's not the case. Chinese automakers like BYD are making headway on all 6 continents that actually matter. Sorry, Antarctica. They're making such a big push that some of the world's top companies like Toyota and Volkswagen are being forced to rethink their entire strategies for the coming decade. China getting good at making cars is a big freaking deal. But Nolan, why are you talking about BYD? I thought Yangwang was the fast car. What the hell is going on, dude? Well, hold on, bud, let me tell you, okay? BYD was founded in 1995, and back then, pretty much all they did was make phone batteries. But in 2003, they founded BYD Auto, and that's when things started to change. 20 years later, 80% of BYD's revenue was from their cars. That cash has gone into building city-sized mega factories, where workers can live in company-provided housing with transit to their job site. That's a little dystopian for my taste. You ever read about Fordlandia? Not a fan of that. Over at Severance HQ, BYD reportedly employs nearly 120,000 engineers alone. For comparison, that's almost more engineers than Apple has employees. Yangwang is a subsidiary of BYD. If BYD is Honda, you can think of Yangwang as their Acura. BYD makes affordable cars while Yangwang is focused on more luxury vehicles. They have a big sedan called the U7, making a casual 1,300 horsepower. Then there's the U8, Yangwang's answer to the G-Wagon. It makes just under 1,200 horsepower and has a pneumatic suspension system that can raise the ride height when it's time to go overlanding with your buddy who built his rig for the apocalypse but is afraid to talk to women. Then finally, there's the U9, the focus of this video. In its base form, it's an electric 2-door mid-engine style design, lacking the engine, of course. It makes around 1,300 horsepower and is capable of 0 to 60 in 2 seconds. The base U9 can hit a top speed of 186 miles per hour, which when compared to the U9 Extreme, seems a little pedestrian, but there's a very good reason why that is, which I'll get to. Honestly, the U9 styling isn't for me. I don't really like it. Kind of looks like a fancier Lykan Hypersport, and you OG fans know how I feel about that. The US price tag for this base U9 without tariffs would be about $235,000, which would put it in the same price range as an entry-level Lamborghini or McLaren. So, Yangwang has all the bases a luxury-minded customer might want covered. But here's the kicker. All 3 of these cars, the luxury sedan, the Brodozer, and the supercar, are all built on the same platform. That's insane. That'd be like if Lexus built their new supercar on the Tacoma platform. It wouldn't make any sense. But it does in this case because all these Yangwangs are EVs on BYD's E4 platform. You have 2 electric motors in the front, 2 in the back, and each of those motors makes around 300 horsepower. The floor is made up of BYD's lithium iron phosphate blade-style batteries, and it has an in-house body control module suite BYD calls DICES. Basically, it's got a ton of sensors and computers on board that can make a ton of suspension changes in the blink of an eye. Yangwang has shown DICES off with videos of their cars going upstairs and jumping over obstacles on the road. The U9 can adjust its suspension to offset body roll, squatting, and diving when at the track, which in the U9's case is very necessary because the weighs around 5,500 pounds. That's almost 1,500 more than the Veyron. But if the base U9 is only capable of 186 miles per hour and the U9 Extreme looks pretty much the same minus the big wing, how did that car hit 308? Well, I think I found the answer. The E4 cars are built on an 800 volt architecture. What kind of architecture an EV utilizes is very important because it determines how much electricity it can put through its motors and how quickly the batteries can be charged. For some more context, the Porsche Taycan and Lucid Air are also 800 volt machines, while Tesla has been hesitant to make the jump from 400, except for the Cybertruck, which is also 800 volt, probably because it's a big. The U9 Extreme lives up to its name with its 1,200 volt architecture. Well, what does that mean? That 1,200 volt rating means the Extreme's motors are rated for a max output of 555 kilowatts, so instead of making 300 horsepower at each wheel like the base U9 does, the Extreme makes 744. Multiply times 4 for each wheel, and that's 2,976 horsepower. It's like they overclocked their PC. They're just pushing more juice to their They can run Cyberpunk on full with ray tracing enabled. It's a beast. For some comparison, the Bugatti Chiron Supersport, one of the coolest, most impressive feats of modern automotive engineering, has an 8-liter quad-turbo 16-cylinder engine, and that only manages 1,578. That's basically half of the U9 Extreme. But when you look at the craftsmanship that goes into the Chiron and how it's essentially a cigar lounge that can hit 260, I think I'd rather sit in the Bugatti. The U9 is a little too minimalist for me to get excited. Now, there are a couple asterisks attached to the U9 Extreme's top speed record. Typically, when a speed record like this is attempted, the team sends the car in one direction, hits top speed, then to account for any tailwinds, they send the car back out to drive in the opposite direction for another run. The average of these two speeds is calculated, and that figure is proclaimed as the car's top speed. The仰望team did not do this in this instance. They had their driver, multi-time Nürburgring lap record holder and former FIA GT1 world champ Marc Basseng, just go out for one session on the high-speed oval. He took 2 warm-up laps, then hit 308.4 on his third before letting off and finishing for the day. They did not go for the turnaround run, so the SSC Tuataro's official speed record of 295 is safe for now. Additionally, the car was fitted with semi-slick tires, and the suspension was tuned specifically for this run. If those features don't make it to the production version, then you could definitely argue that this run is meaningless in the conversation of fastest production car. People said the same thing when the Chiron Supersport 300 Plus went 304 in 2019. That car had a roll cage not present in the production model and only made a pass in one direction. That being said, if you watch the video of the pass, it does look like the U9 has more in it. I mean, this thing was designed to go 500 kilometers per hour, and I think they have a pretty good shot. So maybe this was just a shakedown run, a warning shot, if you will. Marc Basseng seems to think so. A few weeks ago, we talked about Chevy and Ford going back and forth at the Nürburgring and asked if it really matters. In retrospect, I was being a bit of a pessimistic because of course it matters. It gets people excited, and that tech eventually trickles down to cars that you and I will drive. That's the entire value proposition of racing, and that's what's going on here with the U9 Extreme.仰望and BYD are putting their cards on the table for everyone to see. How the rest of the world responds to that is up to them. So what now? Who can bring the fight to仰望? I've brought up Bugatti a lot today, and I'm sure they're working on a 300 plus version of the new Tourbillon. It would be very unlike Bugatti if they weren't. Koenigsegg might have something in the works, and I wouldn't be surprised if EV makers like Rimac are looking into their own 1200 volt architecture or finding a way to gain even higher output than the U9. With this new record, I think we're right on the verge of seeing some truly insane speeds from car makers all over the world, and that makes this speed freak very happy. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I know you have a lot of options these days, and I truly appreciate you watching this one. So, until next time, drive safe. See ya.